Alright, so this is the third upload today, and today is what if female Deku was the spider mother from Demon Slayer. Now, for those of you who asked about the other wife series I said I'd do, so like the God of High School one, the Quetzalcoatl one, the Xenomorph one, and the Death Note one. I am currently doing my research on those ones because I'm not familiar with them. So while I'm doing my research, they will be done once I've gotten my research on them done. Okay, so don't worry, they will be done. Alright, and second of all, I do have a suggestion box thing that I have. I write down any suggested what ifs that people say I should do, and I write them down there. And I still have a lot of suggestions to go through. Some of them are even from some friends of mine. So I'll be getting through those first, and then I'll be getting through them, and I'll be doing them at random. So don't worry if your ones will be done at some point. Alright, so we'll get into the story now. Now I'll explain it. Yeah, explain her abilities. So she basically has the basic Spider Mother's abilities with the spiders and the ability to control people through her threads. But she'll also have the ability she will have the older brother's ability to spit poison, Rui's super hard steel threads, and the older sister's cocoon thing that she has. Now, this will be a villain what if, and I will add in, if you want, I can add in some characters from Demon Slayer as well, so that it's not just her. Alright, so we'll begin with her birth, with her name being, hold on, give me a minute. With her name being Yui Midoriya. And if you saw the meaning of that name, you'll know it'll be helpful. It translates to helpful fountain. With Yui being born with super pale skin and these weird red dots over her face, and I think it was like some like gray. I think the eye color was gray, I believe. If not, then tell me. Now she is born into quite a rich family. It's not the... Actually, I'll say she's born into the Todoroki family. Yeah. So she'll be Shoto's older sister. She will be born after Toya. So when she's born, the doctors point this out to Endeavor, and he thinks that this could be this could be the perfect child that he was wanting. As Yui Todoroki, yeah, Todoroki, she's not Midoriya. If I said Midoriya earlier, I'm retconning that. She is born, and as she gets older and older, it's not going to be a quirk, so she is going to be quirkless. It's just her ability. As Endeavor and Raid notice that there are a lot more spiders around the house than usual, and notice that a lot of them were coming from Yui's room. Now I'm not sure if if the Spider Mother produces them on her own, or they're just spiders from the nearby area, but I'm going to say she produces them on her own. So they notice that there are spiders that are coming out of her hands. I'm going to say hands because it'd be weird if it was coming out of anywhere else. Okay, so they're coming out of her hands. They also notice some threads all over the room that look normal, but when Endeavor tries to cut, when Ray tries to cut them with a knife, they're about as hard as steel. As Endeavor sees this and deems her as a failure, as Endeavor continues to train, as Toya begins to train on his own, and so does Yui. She trains with Toya to where they can both enhance their abilities, and anytime Toya does get burnt by using its quirk, she's always there to use her webbing to wrap bandages. Like crude rudimentary bandages that more or less just prevent further injury. As she's growing up, Natsuo and Fuyumi are born later on, with the four of them having a pretty good bond. And when Shoto comes along, that's when Endeavor believes that he has succeeded in creating the ultimate quirk user. With Endeavor with Toya and Yui basically breaking themselves to train. Yui also discovers from accidentally cutting her hand off with one of her webs. Now I'll say she's about 12 years old at this point. And once she accidentally cut her hand off, she notices that she's regenerating as her hand slowly begins to repair itself as it then fully forms back into a proper hand. She is amazed by this. Now she does still have a weakness to fire, because I'm going to be replacing the weakness to the sun with the weakness to fire. So people like Shoto, Endeavor, and Dabi Dabi/Toya can technically bring her down, but if she's skilled enough, she could probably bring them down as well. Now, we'll continue on with after Toya's training accident, and as he is beginning to burn up, Yui was in the area as she goes to rescue Toya, and she ends up saving him, but in the process, her arm does catch on fire, so she ends up cutting it off as it begins to burn to charcoal, to where there's nothing left but the bone. As she does begin to regenerate her arm, as both her and Toya end up in a cave nearby, with Yui trying to repair the injuries that Toya had sustained. As he is in a large amount of pain as she's trying to heal him, but she sees that and eventually she does stop the bleeding by getting some water and just pouring it over the entirety of Toya's body, as he does pass out, and a couple hours later he does wake up with Yui thankful that her older brother is alright, and knows that the reason that Toya is like this is because of Endeavor. And that day she swore that she would kill Endeavor. Now we'll cut to the Todoroki family view. As they do notice the massive amounts of fire, as the fire department and pro heroes are called, all they find up there was a lower jaw and a arm, and like a charred arm that slowly begins to dissolve into red mist. With the arm completely dissipating afterwards, and and what they think is Toya's lower jaw is all that's left. So they build a funeral shrine for both Toya and Yui, as they believe them to be dead. But in actuality, Yui and Toya are currently trying to help each other survive. With anytime they encounter, now they do develop their quirks a lot more, to the point where Yui can spit the older brother's poison, and cocoon her enemies into and they turn into like a meat slushy. Now, this is the sister's abilities, and isn't required that she eats humans, but she does it because it makes her stronger. So anytime they kill somebody, oh, sorry about that. Anyway, so anytime she eats somebody, she gets stronger and stronger. And we'll cut forward a couple years, so they're both adults. Toya goes by Dabi now and has his dyed black hair, and Yui goes by the name Killer Queen, she mainly goes by Killer Queen, but she'll go by the mother later on, but right now she goes by Killer Queen. With both her and Toya basically sibling bond gets stronger and stronger, to the point where they do work as a tag team. So how they deal with their opponents is that Yui will send her spiders, these little things right here. I'm sorry if you have arachnophobia. She sends these little guys down to wrap her threads around them, and she basically controls them like puppets, like how the mother did in Demon Slayer. And she also causes them to use their quirks as well. So basically, a lot of their opponents have died to friendly fire, and Dabi comes in and torches the rest of them, including the ones that were attached to Yui's strings, with Yui eating the ones who weren't torched, and because she tried to eat the ones that were torched, but they had a charcoal aftertaste. And as they developed more of a reputation, they started doing other crimes, including robbing people and robbing banks. With them developing a name for themselves, with Yui taking out the guards and Dabi taking out anybody who tried to interfere. That included pro-heroes, which Yui would they'd take the dead bodies of, and Yui would eat later on. As they then build up their reputation more and more, to the point where Dabi and Killer Queen are rated. I'll say Yui is rated the number 3 villain, while Dabi is the number 4 villain. With them taking out any villain who tried to take their place take their places on the top 10 rated villains, with them both taking them out, and trust me, there were a lot of people who tried to take them out, and they all failed. They even managed to elude the likes of All Might and Deva with their experience in that category. As they would end up building, they'd eventually rent out they'd essentially end up building an estate, they would find an estate, sort of like similar to the spider estate in Demon Slayer. You know, the old ruined shack that they lived in? Yeah, that one. As they would... Hold on, give me a minute. Alright, sorry about that. And eventually, as I was saying, they, where was I? Oh, yeah. They do find the old abandoned shack that they were in Demon Slayer, with them basically going there after they committed a crime, after they lost the pros. And that is where I'll leave it off. So if you guys enjoy this one and would like to see this made into a series, I can do that. So I'll see you guys next time with the continuation of Albedo, and possibly the continuation of this one and the start of one of the what ifs that was suggested to me. So I'll see you guys next time.